Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Death is something we must all face, whether it's our own or a dear one. Can we make that difficult time less trying? Welcome Karsten from Maple Creek Home Health and Hospice to the program. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I want to tell you guys a little bit about Maple Creek and Karma. She's a diamond member of the Spanish Fork Salem Area Chamber of Commerce, so that means that her business donates so much money to the chamber to help sustain it. So the chamber appreciates that.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And Maple Creek was voted as February Business of the Month.
Yes, very excited about that.
A little bit about Karma. You were an RN, and then you decided that you didn't love the hospital.
Not so much.
Stay for the end of life, right? And so you decided to start your own business.
Right.
And tell us about that. Tell us, what is hospice?
Hospice is really misunderstood. I've done hospice for over 20 years, and it's not changed much in what people's understanding is of it. It is for people who are at end of life, but trying to determine what that looks like is so difficult in the world we live in, because medicine can always do one more thing. You know, we can do this, let's try this. And so it's really difficult for someone to come to terms with the fact that they're going to die, they're immortal, and then coming to terms with the fact that there's nothing more that can be done. And that's where I think it's so misunderstood. Hospice can do so much more than what people would think or would expect. And there's kind of an idea or a myth behind hospice that if you go on hospice, if you choose hospice, then you've just given up. And that is so far from the truth. And it also does not mean that you can't change your mind. Maybe, you know, 2 months down the road, there's a cure for whatever illness you may have. Well, you can go seek that cure. If it works, wonderful. If it doesn't, then you can still come back. So there's not a limited time per se that you can be on hospice. But again, it's still very misunderstood, and a lot of it has to do with the world that we live in.
What does it mean to you? Does it mean just making someone comfortable by their own terms then?
Absolutely.
Or, okay.
Absolutely. And I'll just tell a brief story. There was a gentleman that I went to see. He's 65, COPD, just really bad lungs, bad heart disease, just a wreck. In and out of the hospital with pneumonia. He was scared to death when hospice was asked to come out, because he was sure that he was going to die. And I explained to him, my job is to just make you comfortable. He thought that meant that I was just going to give him morphine until he died. So we got a little paranoid. We had a family meeting, explained everything that it is that we do. That was 6 months ago, and he's doing extremely well.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, we do have a little morphine out there for him, but he's doing quite well now.
Are you still going into his home?
We are.
Oh, okay.
We do. He still has a terminal illness, which is his lung disease. We can't fix that. But boy, can we make breathing better. Boy, can we make sure that he doesn't get the infections and, you know, start spiraling down and back in the hospital. Before we went in to see him, he was in and out of the hospital, I bet you, every 3 or 4 weeks. Oh, wow. And the last 6 months, he's never been back to the hospital. Oh, wow. So we're just very preemptive of, you know, monitoring symptoms. He's had a couple of times where fluids started to build back up, and we treat that and get that off of him. A couple of times where he's, you know, we thought that he had pneumonia, so we treated that. So again, that's not giving up at all. That's just saying, I have an illness that's going to take my life. How can I make the best of this until my time comes?
Absolutely.
So we're
and
very
insurance
aggressive.
Covers this as well?
Medicare, Medicare covers everything at 100%. So what that means is a team of professionals, including a physician, that oversees the medical management of this patient. We have people that can help with bathing, personal care, people that can help with the psychosocial issues, spiritual issues. We have volunteers that can go in. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we're kind of that safety net. So that person that's been in and out of the hospital, that's where they go because they don't know what else to do. Now they call us, and we're able to go out and take care of them. We also pay for medications. Any equipment that they need. So if we need a hospital bed, wheelchair, those kinds of things, all those things are provided.
Wow.
So it's just getting past that word hospice. Because there's such a preconceived idea.
Is it kind of twofold, because it's home health and hospice.
They're
so
very
do you,
separate.
Do you
They're
try
two
and run
separate companies.
Okay.
They
okay.
are very, very different. Home health is for someone who's going to get better.
Okay.
Maybe someone who's had a knee replacement, hip replacement, something like that.
Like a rehab thing.
Like
but
more of a
different.
rehab thing. It's
Right.
very short term, very limited in what can be done for that person. But the goal is to keep them safe and keep them in their
Right.
home. Hospice's goal is the same, but we know that what the outcome is going to be. So,
But have there been moments where they have gotten really well and actually
oh yes, yes,
left
and
hospice
we've
and-
discharged them. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So do you think
Absolutely.
even the energy of hospice is way better than the situation of going, I mean, they feel loved, they feel like they're, you know, people care about them.
Absolutely.
Whereas
And
in a hospital, you never know, do you?
no, and a lot of people that we see are elderly, so they've got, and they're both elderly, you know, the person that's ill
Right.
and their caregiver is very elderly, and they become so isolated because of their illnesses. And we come in there and we're always happy, you know, we're happy about being there. And so when you have the nurse in there 3 or 4 times a week, someone going in and helping with bathing, it makes a huge difference. One of the biggest things that I think we do that makes a difference, and people get to graduate, so to speak, is managing their meds. Meds are a mess with the elderly. They see this specialist, he gives them this medication. They see this specialist, he gives them this medication. And they're just on, you know, a conglomerate of meds.
Okay.
And you go in and kind of clean that medication list up and minimize some of those things, and it makes all the difference in the world for them.
Well, another thought that crossed my mind is even the weather that we're in right now, and you talked about pneumonia in particular and having to go back to the hospital so many times. I mean, that has to contribute also. If you're just in your home and there are minimal germs, or you're not getting exposed, I guess, to the hospital, to the car, to anything, maybe it is, you know, giving them a little more or prolonging that a little bit more.
It absolutely does. And there's
mean-
lots of statistics out there that say if you go on hospice, your life has been extended. And I
Oh,
know it's
I'm
because
sure.
we're so preventative in what we do.
Or even
So-
a fall on the, I mean, the
Yeah.
ice or something. My goodness, you could. I mean,
Right.
at least you're at home
Right.
and you're safe. And
Right.
and I guess that's the reassuring part. If you've known anybody that's ever been in hospice, just the fact that you're, in my instance, it was grandma, but grandma was at home, and everybody
Right.
could go there on their
Right.
schedules and visit, and it wasn't so sterile per se.
isolated
You know,
and-
yeah. So
yeah.
I can feel that love.
And
Yeah.
as a patient, just being in your own home rather than the hospital. So as a visitor, I think it's better, but then also as a patient.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Well, Karma,
yes.
the Spanish Fork Salem Area Chamber of Commerce magazine just came out. So all of the residents in the Salem and Spanish Fork area should have received this. And if our viewers want to read more, there is a full page on Maple Creek Home Health and Hospice, and they can learn more about you. Do you want to tell us how can someone get a hold of you, and where are your offices located?
Our office is in Spanish Fork, right across the street from the high school, 290 West Center Street. Our phone number is 801-798-5333.
And they can
And
just call and
just
get a
call.
consultation, right?
And they might even recognize her on the billboard
Yes,
too.
yes,
That's
from
what
the
she
billboard.
does. That's all over.
Well, and I just, you know, I like to tell families, I mean, if things just aren't going well at home, your loved one's
Right.
just not doing as well, it's never too early to call us to come out, but it can be too late.
Right.
I mean, you've missed the whole boat if you've been home struggling and pain and whatever may be going on, and we get there for a week.
Right.
So, and that's what people still wait to do, is they just wait too long.
Right.
So-
And there's help out there like you.
Thank you.
It's a
Thank
wonderful
you.
thing that you do. Thank
It's a
you so
wonderful
much
gift.
for coming by.
Thank you.
We promise spring is coming and it's time to get the garden started. Don't go anywhere.